Hello everyone, it's Chris here in the foyer of our wonderful main building here at Discovery Church. I'm bringing you another online video devotion, and we started this brand new series this week called Deeper. It's about worship and worshiping God, and one of the things I wanted to touch on because we emphasize the reality that worship begins with acknowledging that God went out of his way to get to us. And so because of that, I used to say it like this in my very first youth pastor gig a long time ago when I was skinny and had hair, that worship isn't something you give, it's something you live. Worship is who you are because God created us. We acknowledge that he went out of his way to get to us. And so worship should just be part of every area of our life. And so what I want to talk about today is just how that looks practically. In the letter to the church in Colossae, Paul was just writing them, encouraging them, instructing them. And he says this in Colossians chapter 3, starting at verse 15. And this is just him giving them practical applications of the spiritual principles inside of them being part of their everyday life. He says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom through psalms and hymns and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts." Verse 17, "And whatever you do, whether it's in word or deed, do it all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, giving thanks to God the Father through him." And so for me, when I think about worshiping God, being a practical aspect of every area of my life, I just think about being a hard worker, being a great employee, being a sincere business person. So one of the things that I've experienced in my life, a couple of jobs I had when I first got hired on, the owners weren't really keen on me. However, through time, or not owners, my bosses, they weren't really keen on me. However, through time, I proved that I would outwork anybody on the floor, anybody in whatever job. And so I gained trust and influence to them. And through that, I was able to share Christ with them. And so the object of my worship is God, and so everything I do should reflect that I'm worshiping God. I'm not working for a paycheck, I'm working as unto the Lord. You know, I think about the places where I fall short, and this is like when my kids were in sports. Like, I'm that guy who would get like really upset and maybe lose my mind a little bit on a bad call. And you know what I realized in my life? That doesn't glorify God, that doesn't worship God. And you can be that parent who, when something is terrible, that you can remember, or when a call is bad, you can remember that, hey, this is a game, it's all good, we're here to glorify God. So you do it in your work, or maybe you work out. You know, many people know that I enjoy doing CrossFit, and I don't have any disillusions that like I'm going to be this great CrossFit athlete and make it to the games. But what I do understand is this, is that my body is a temple of God. And while I'm not trying to have a, incredible physique or be super strong, what I can do is while I'm working out, I can recognize that me putting forth this effort is to honor God. And that is some of the practical aspects I want you guys to lay hold of today. That whatever you do, in word, in deed, do it as unto the Lord. If you're a teacher, you're not teaching children. You are loving people made in the image of God, and you are glorifying him by putting forth your best effort to help these children. And if you begin to think of each area of your life with this context, that everything I do, everything I say can be glorifying to God, can be worship unto God. It will help you go deeper in your relationship. I hope you have a great week. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.